FactsVerse presents Soldier Eating Taco Gets Confronted by Street Gang. Well, that's gotta be one really good taco, I would think. Well, we'll find out in just a moment. First, jump down to the comments and let us know, when it comes to tacos or just Mexican food in general, what's your favorite place to go? Also, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell so you don't miss our future videos. There are several ways you can describe the life of a soldier. A few of them include dangerous, brave, heroic, fulfilling, and even at times frightening. When a soldier's on duty, they don't work a 9-to-5 job. They go where they're ordered, when they're ordered, and do what's asked. They follow orders. Even when they're not on duty, they are still in a soldier's state of mind. And that's something that soldiers Robert Riston and Jason Gibson understand all too well. Robert and Jason liked soccer. Not only did they enjoy watching it, but they were also coaches. Robert is the head coach of the Columbus Lions, a team from Fort Benning, Columbus, Georgia. Jason is the assistant coach. The Senior Bowl was coming up, and Jason and Robert wanted to make sure that the team was practicing and that everything was on track. The team was practicing in Mobile, Alabama, so they decided to head down there. After seeing everything was fine, the two men planned to head back home. When they left the stadium, the soldiers felt a cold wind and it started to rain. The men planned to head home to their families. They were hoping that they could beat the storm, but that didn't happen. The wind was picking up and it started to pour. The two men knew how dangerous storms could get and how quickly they could become dangerous, so it didn't take long for the men to realize that they needed to find shelter so that they could wait for the storm to pass. The men drove slowly down the street and they came upon a Taco Bell. When they looked inside, their first thought was that it was closed. There were no cars in the parking lot and they didn't see anybody inside. When they pulled into the parking lot, they saw that one of the employees was standing at the counter. They thought that this was odd since every other time they went to a Taco Bell it was busy. Well, they figured that because of the storm, people probably just chose not to go out. Since Taco Bell was open, though, they thought that it would be an excellent place to wait out the storm and get a bite to eat at the same time. The two soldiers were eating when they noticed two figures outside. Because of the rain, the windows were foggy, so they were unable to make out who was at the window. Being soldiers, though, they were always on alert. They were trained to detect danger immediately, and the figures outside the window had both men wondering. Based on how bad the weather was, they were wondering why somebody would be outside a Taco Bell that was practically deserted. Both men knew that they were not in the best neighborhood already, so they thought the figures in the window might be thugs, hoping to rob the Taco Bell or try to get free food. Both soldiers were immediately tensed up. They were ready for anything. When the people outside the door came in, both Jason and Robert were shocked. When the door opened, the soldier saw a teenager and a younger boy come in. They assumed the teenager was no older than 13 years old. The other boy could have been maybe 9 at the most. The two soldiers thought that it was odd these boys would be out in such bad weather. Kids their age should have been home safe, watching TV on the couch. The boys approached the men and asked if they wanted to donate to their church. Well, this was why the boys were out in the first place. Jason and Robert couldn't believe what they were hearing. When the boys asked the soldiers to donate to their church, they let the kids know that, well, they didn't have any cash on them. Robert asked the boys if they'd eaten yet, and they both said no. Robert offered to buy the boys a meal, and the boys were thrilled. They were hungry and tired, and they'd love to have a hot meal. Also, they both looked up to soldiers, so they were excited about sitting down with them. The whole time they were eating together, the boys looked at the soldier with admiration. They explained that life was tough in their neighborhood, and they wanted to join the service when they were old enough. That made Jason and Robert beam with pride. When the younger boy saluted the soldiers, they showed him the proper way to do it, and the boy was thrilled. Robert and Jason knew the kids admired them, and, well, they admired the kids too. Most kids their age would be home playing video games or on their tablets, but these two kids, they were out raising money for their church in a storm. That was pretty impressive to these soldiers. The boys asked Robert if they could use his phone to call their grandfather and let him know that they were safe. For the boys and the soldiers, it was a night they would never forget. Subscribe for more.